Hello and welcome. My name is Bianca. I'm a life coach for people who want to dance through life and a coach for competitive dancers aiming to create the perfect performance. A performance becomes perfect when it's authentic, just like life. I would appreciate a subscription or a feedback if this free content is helpful for you. This podcast focuses on the foundational topic underlying everything. Happiness, success, health, and happy relationships arise when we know who we are and act accordingly. Living authentically prevents suffering and fosters vitality. In generally, one can say suffering arises when a person does not live authentically. However, many people are not even aware of the areas in which they are not living authentically. But living inauthentically drains us of vital energy. Vital energy can be reduced, maintained, or even created all by ourselves. To live authentically, a person must discover what truly aligns with themselves, without needing to copy other people's way of life. This requires skill, knowledge, physical awareness, mental freedom, and also a lot of courage. What is true for me? This is the big question on all levels. First of all, I'm speaking about the mental, emotional, and physical forces available to us. As long as the flow of these forces is not disrupted, we generate vital energy. Another level involves spiritual forces. Yet another level I call the genetic level. These concerns inherited traits. More on this a little later. Connections can exist across all 5 levels. One level influences another. This means if I suffer mentally, I will most likely also suffer emotionally and, as a final state, also physically. And of course, also vice versa. Everything in life is a message. We can get it or ignore it. Health, happiness, and contentment are complex matters. The first step is to recognize on which level a person is losing the most vital energy and on which level they are unable to maintain or generate enough vital energy. Once the causes are identified, countermeasures can be taken. Some causes are conscious, easily recognizable on the surface of awareness, while others are deeply hidden in our subconscious, often to seemingly protect us from harm. Let me talk about possible causes of an inauthentic life across different levels. Causes that drain life force. On a mental level, our conditioned mind, negative thoughts, fears, worries, doubts, a need to be right, assigning blame, judging others, harboring anger, or feeling guilt. On an emotional level, hurt feelings and unmet needs are often a problem. Lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, fears arising from emotional wounds. On a physical level, of course, poor quality food, toxins, radiation, alcohol, smoking, and other drugs. Suffering on other levels can manifest in our physical body as messages. Once we found out a cause, the root of a physical problem, we can go into a healing state. Our body is a miracle. We should never forget this. On the other hand, there are causes that fail to provide life force when neglected. Healthy foods are healing foods. Sufficient and quality sleep, oxygen, meaning deep breathing, physical movement, and the rhythm in everything we do. Very important to gain life energy is to be creative. Do what excites you. Living your individual talents and passions are sending you a lot of vital energy if you do them. Important to understand is the lack of vitality means a weak immune system. on a physical level as well as on a soul level, so to say. Mental, conscious wounds can be addressed through various approaches, techniques, and exercises. This includes an open conversation or questions which guide a client towards their own solutions. Of course, there are also mental, unconscious wounds. These must first be brought into awareness. Which thoughts and beliefs originate from within me? Which have I unconsciously adopted from others? Do I have the choice to believe my thoughts or not? Emotional wounds are often unconscious and therefore need to be resolved on a different level. For this, a person must first learn to perceive and trust their body. The mind cannot detect these wounds, but the body has stored them. Fear, guilt, anger, hatred, grief, and shame often hide themselves well out of self-protection. Through increased body awareness, these emotions can be sensed and then resolved with appropriate exercises. I conduct such exercises very individually during consultations with my clients, but there are also exercises for everyday life. Fears and other emotions may linger in the system for quite some time, being reignited even, but they may gradually dissolve through exercises. Few people have learned from an early age to give space to feelings and emotions. As a result, they cannot easily perceive or heal them. We have learned to solve problems rationally. However, deep emotional wounds cannot be resolved rationally. Therefore, it is wise to seek support in this area. Mindful exercises, body awareness practices, expanded perception techniques, and letting go of the mind are helpful in finding solutions. Allowing and accepting all feelings also is of great importance. Energy follows the attention. This means that emotional trauma can also be holistically and very individually brought back into harmony through specific exercises. Often, many typical human problems are resolved on these first three levels, as mentioned. However, there are cases where additional levels require attention and acknowledgement. A fourth level is our spiritual power. While the first three levels focus on our relationship with ourselves, this level concerns our relationship with the universal creative force, our relationship with life itself. What we commonly refer as karmic themes can play a role here. Another level is the fifth level, and I call it the genetic level. Here the focus is on entanglements with ancestral lines. Children sometimes take on unresolved issues from previous generations. Suffering can also arise from the circumstances of conception, pregnancy, or birth. The goal of spiritual and genetic healing is the healing of the creator whole, because everything and everyone is one. Considering all levels leads to overcome fears and paves the way for trust in oneself and in life itself. An authentically living person creates harmony and balance within their system. They avoid or reduce stress and thereby strengthen their physical and psychological immune system. Resilience, the power of resistance, is built. Life can be mastered independently. Maintaining practices and activities that provide us with life energy in everyday life helps us stay afloat, even during challenging times. I hope this podcast has inspired you. If so, I would be delighted if you subscribed to this channel or even left a comment about your experiences. On one hand, it is my goal to support as many people as possible, and on the other hand, I appreciate feedback on my free content. It lets me know that my effort is worthwhile. Thank you. I wish you the clarity to know exactly who you are. Much love, Bianca.